to discuss with us is Ohio Republican Congressman Brad Wenstrup. Congressman, welcome back to the show. All right, so President Trump today in your state in East Palestine passing out water and reminding the residents there that they have not been forgotten. Obviously, a precinct that Trump won in 2020. How was his visit received?
Oh, I'm sure it's received very, very well. You know, this is what leadership looks like, actually, is when you show up and you don't ask other people to do things that you wouldn't do. I'm speaking to my military background, I guess, when I say that, but it's the same in any situation. And it's really been disappointing that the president hasn't been there, that Buttigieg hasn't been there, and I think that Trump's visit probably motivated Buttigieg to get down there as soon as possible, where he's basically put it off at this point. You know, this is a very serious matter when it seems to me that we don't necessarily have standard operating procedures in place. So how nice for the former president to be down there handing out water and talking to people and letting them know that he cares about them. I think that that's an important sign. It's a shame we didn't see it from the current administration.
Yeah, I mean, the mayor there of East Palestine, Trent Conway, he slammed Biden for going to Ukraine and not going to Ohio, and he said it was the biggest slap in the face. We just learned before coming on air that Biden finally spoke with Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and fellow Congressman Bill Johnson, who represents that area, was just on the show. It blows my mind that all of this, here we are 20 days later, and it's finally happening. You got, as Lindsay said, Buttigieg going down there tomorrow. What do you think the folks there want to see from the administration at this point?
They want to see what's going to happen going forward, and I think that they're also waiting for facts of what actually happened and follow the decisions that were made. You know, for example, to do the slow burn, what I've been told is burning this off was a decision by the local fire chief, the EPA, the Ohio EPA, Pennsylvania involved as well, first responders, and even Norfolk Southern. I think they want to hear why the decision was made, and not necessarily saying it was a wrong decision. Maybe it was the best decision, but they want some answers, and they want to know what is going to be done from here on out, how to make sure that they are safe. Is the ground being tested? Is the water being tested? With what regularity? And what happens if things are contaminated? And apparently many things are when you talk about the fish dying. And obviously, these are very toxic items. And I'll speak as a doctor for a second here, because, you know, you're talking about chemicals that cause lung irritation, nausea, dizziness, and that's just many of them. But vinyl chloride causes liver cancer. Benzene can cause genetic changes. All these things are on their minds, of course, each and every day, the safety and health of their families. So they would love to see this administration making plans to make sure that they're safe, even if that means evacuating or making sure that if they do stay, that they are in a safe environment.
Congressman, before we let go, I do want to talk to you about this because, as you mentioned, you are a doctor and you're also the chair of the House Select Subcommittee on COVID. What are your priorities for that subcommittee? Who are you looking to hold accountable, or what are you looking to specifically find out?
Well, in many ways, I look at this as an after-action review and lessons learned, and what is our path forward. And if we go towards the future, look towards the future, if there's another pandemic, which there likely will be, let's understand everything about this so that we may be able to predict and we may be able to prepare for or actually protect ourselves and maybe even prevent a pandemic. And that's why the origins of COVID is very important, because if you understand the evolution of this particular deadly virus, we want to know how to respond to it. But we'll be looking into everything, the effects on our children, the educational system, the government's role in providing funds for research with an adversary, China, where coronavirus type research was being done between the U.S. and Chinese. We're looking at the government programs, the role of the agencies, the policies that came forward, and what were the effects. Were there positive effects? Were there negative effects? You know, the effects of lockdowns and masking and mandates. So we want to know why decisions were made, and was data being used, and why these decisions were made, and what was the result of those decisions. This is a preparedness and readiness exercise for the future, but we're going to learn a lot about our government and the decisions that were made.
Good. Well, thanks for taking the lead on this. This is a lot of questions that you've raised that we need answers to. I appreciate that. Thanks for being with us, and we continue to pray for the people of Ohio as you go through this tragedy.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.